Hey, good evening. Bill Boshears here in the Scizone. Thank you for joining me tonight. This Saturday night, we're glad you're here. Anyway, first things out of the barrel. This week, Wednesday night, if you're not busy, if you'll go to www.wbqc, you can register for tickets to see Iron Man. That should prove to be, it's a sci-fi action kind of thing. Little scuffling and going on, a little fist fighting and stuff. You'll enjoy it. It's a good takeoff and a good sci-fi, and the techniques are good in it. Anyway, join me, if you will. Love to have you. Tonight I want to take a look at something that's been bothering me, and maybe you too. Have you filled your car up lately? I thought so. Here we are. Go back with me a little bit. Maybe you can help me. I don't know. Do you remember Dick Cheney and his energy meetings? They were secret, if you remember. And out of that came an energy policy. I'm not sure what the hell it was. I think it was kind of like, let's just send troops in there and take it away from them. Well, that's all kind of gone by the wayside. We know what a success the war has been. Oh, wait. 8 years later, and what a waste. A complete, utter waste. I didn't want to go to start with. Thought it was a bad idea. Larry Nichols, who was, he and I talked about this the other day. I said to him, I said, Larry, remember when I asked you if it was going to be another Vietnam? He said, yeah, I do. He said, do you remember my answer? I said, I do. Larry said, no, it won't be a Vietnam War because the real problem is going to be after the engagement. Then's when the war will start. Well, virtually we have no energy policy in this country. And last night, it was really driven home. If you haven't seen, if you've got HBO, you need to go watch the last show of Bill Maher. Bill Maher. It's pronounced Maher. Okay, Bill Maher. He had a guy on there by the name of Jeffrey Sachs. And he is from Columbia University, and he's got a new book. I just went through it. It is phenomenal. It's called The Commonwealth by Jeffrey Sachs. I guess he spells that S-A-C-H-S. S-A-C-H-S, Jeffrey Sachs. I guess that's the right pronounce. Tell me if I'm screwing it up. Anyway, he pointed out, he made some very good points. He said, you know, we've got 6.7 billion people on the planet. We've got China and India soaring economies. Our food supply, and supply of water and the supply of oil right now is tighter than ever. We've got prices soaring. We have good alternatives, by the way. You know, there are many things that could be done. A lot of poor places could be growing a lot more food. We have alternative energy sources, but we're not investing at all in them. And he questioned him a little bit about that. And I took it upon myself to go back and dig out his exact comment about that. All the money is going right to the war right now. And we've spent 8 years wasting time. Not putting our money into alternative energy or sources. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. If we had just had an alternative energy program, much of what we're facing right now could be alleviated. For instance, we spend $1 trillion trying to defend a scarce resource in the Middle East, of which we obviously have made no progress in doing so. And it's even worse now with the recent release that I made last night to some friends of mine on the internet. And I'm going to bring you up to speed on that. They've made no progress in any, and that's a tragedy, ladies and gentlemen. This is a tragedy. We've just wasted 8 years, and we've gone ever closer to the cliff. There's no answer for this except we have, and if we don't get rid of this president we've got, thank God I have this down here. We only have 268 days, 13 hours, and 54 minutes, and 14 seconds and counting until he's over. Thank God. But what is more scary, we've got candidates coming in, and there's a funny way that we elect them. We elect presidents in this country as though we were going to sit down and have a beer with them. Or you're going to play golf with them. That's not going to work. The same thing has happened to this company that's happened to General Motors, all the large corporations. It's happened now to the government. We have not invested in our technology. There is a portion of the Mojave Desert, and I'm quoting him, that could provide more than half the electricity needs to the United States without emitting any carbon dioxide, just by using solar power that's available. Think about that. We'll do a break, come right back with more of this and your telephone calls if you want. 513-381-3838. Join me right here tonight. $268 days left till we're done with him, and your phone calls tonight. By the way, our total research budget on sustainable energy, the resources has been between $2 and $3 billion. Now get this. This is between 1 and 1.5 days of what we spend on the Pentagon. Folks, we got to have some changes. Do you realize that there are people in this country right now at different stores, I think it's Walmart and some of the other stores, you can't buy, they've rationed the rice and restricted the amount you can buy? Are you aware of that? And people, I heard some guy laughing about it. I said, well, I don't eat much rice. You might be eating rice, and damn lucky to get it. You see, this isn't a recession, my friend. This is a depression. There are no jobs being created in this country. Oh, by the way, and for those of you who want to invest, I have pictures of the Amero. Oh, you don't know about that? Yeah. It's a coin. Yeah, they've already got it out, and you can buy it. It's when Canada and Mexico become one with the United States. The Amero is out there. That's what you can look forward to. Thank you, Bill Clinton. Thank you, George Bush Sr. Thank you, Bush. Well, let's go to the phones. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. By the way, I want to thank all the people who emailed me this week. I took over 28,000 emails. My email thing collapsed. But that's all right. You keep them coming. We'll get that fixed. 28,000 ain't a bad number. And all of you that I could find going through them, and there are people going through them, you seem to like this show. Thank you. Thank you very much. Vicki, you're on the air.
Yes, hello there. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Very good. I've been watching your show since its inception.
Thank you.
And I enjoyed it very much.
Thank you.
I enjoyed it more at the beginning because, as your name states on the show, it's Scizone. But lately you haven't been doing anything about science or scientific fiction or anything like that. It's been a lot of current events, which you expressed them very well. But that's on cable news and other stations. I really would like to know, when are you going to get back to exploring Things.
Let me answer your question.
Yes.
I got an email just this week, and I was invited to go on a Bigfoot expedition in Colorado.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know about you, but I stay up on current events.
Oh, yes, I enjoy your current events part, but I miss you doing the science fiction part. That's all I'm saying. And I would like for you to do more of that, if you can, like you did at the beginning.
Let me explain something to you.
Yes.
There isn't enough information that we can glean from everyday event.
Okay.
There are a lot of UFO flaps and this, that, and the other, but it has no real incentive. Let me explain. I see it as, here we are fiddling, watching Rome burn.
Right.
We've got to do something about taking our country back.
Sure.
Then we can worry about Bigfoot. I hate to tell you this, and all you Bigfoot hunters, what in the hell are you going to do with it if you catch it?
Oh, I don't think they should be even looking for it. If it's out there minding its business, they should leave it. But there are strange things going on around in the sky. Texas has seen other things, and there are a lot of odd things going around. I'd like to know more about that.
I would too. I'd really like to know a lot more about it.
Right.
But you see, we function on a very limited time frame and a very limited budget.
Maybe once a month.
You're hard pressed for information, and we'll try to do what we can.
It's just that it's interesting. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Okay.
Glad to have you. Bye bye. Let's go to Don. Don, you're there.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was just going to comment on California with their alternative energies. I don't know if you're familiar too much with them.
I know that they had a car a few years ago, a hybrid, which somehow just got blown off, and nobody took it seriously. They took it seriously, but they took it off the market.
Right. Well, I've heard recently, I think, I haven't seen it on any computer or anything like that, but I've heard recently, I think that the governor has decided to work out his own plans for alternative energy if the U.S. government doesn't, and so he's decided to do more with hydrogen. He's got about 12, I understand, dispensaries of hydrogen in California now for whatever hydrogen thing there is. I hope it's more than just buses and city dump trucks and stuff like that, but he's at least doing that. And
may I suggest something to you? Go to Byron Wine, that's BYRONWINE.com.
That's just it. I don't diddle with the computer.
You don't diddle with the computer?
No, sir.
Well, would you try diddling with it at the library or something and look this up?
Well, that's fine. I'm sure there's lots of things to be found on the computer there. I just wanted to ask you what you thought about the further utilization of hydrogen there, and also in
Absolutely.
Japan.
What I'm trying to get you to do is to understand the techniques and how simple it is to install it on your car.
Right. Well, it's also the problem with hydrogen, as I expressed earlier, is that you can't infrastructure it. The reason hydrogen isn't anywhere around is because you can make your own hydrogen all day long with platinum metal and gold metal, and
you can do it with seawater, my friend.
Well, this involves distilled water, and you derive the hydrogen and oxygen from distilled water with just sunlight.
Well, you should diddle more. I tell you what you do. You should diddle a little bit with the internet.
Yeah.
You get really up to speed in a real hurry. But I appreciate it, Don. Thank you, sir.
I'm just saying that those things are available, and that's why they're not going to be used, is because the oil company can't use it.
Well, the oil company is here first, and they want you to continue to do what you've always done, sir.
Yeah, well, they have tankers and trucks and stations, and they need all those to run so they can sell their gas. And if they make it more expensive, that's all the better. But they need to have an expensive system to deliver fuel instead of having you make it in your own backyard.
Yeah, that would work. I appreciate it. Thank you. Let's go to Deborah. Deborah, you're there. I can't help you. Go ahead.
How are you this evening, Mr. Boshiers?
I'm doing well, ma'am. Doing well.
Thank you. I enjoy watching your show.
Thank you.
I see that watching your show, viewing your show on the weekends, you have a lot of knowledge and wisdom, and you're a brother that does not mind telling the truth, okay? You don't whitewash stuff. Let me ask you this, Mr. Boshiers.
No, just call me Bill. Thank you.
Mr. Bill, let me ask you this, sir. What about this February 2009? Okay, about the food shortages and all this and that. What do you think about this? You think that has something to fall on with the one rule government?
I think it's the precursor to it. I think giving you and getting you and your country on its knees is what the one world government wants. Now, whether you believe it or not, I don't really care. The point is, it's coming. And they've all but turned this country into a third world country. It's almost there.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
And I just wanted to say something else. My father is a truck driver, and he's telling me, about the food shortage.
Yes.
Now the truck drivers, they basically ain't got no business either.
No, it's off. You're going to lose a third of the truck driving jobs in this country.
Something.
I appreciate it. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Bye-bye.
What I'd like to, we're going to go to commercial. When you get online, turn your television down. It's annoying. And not only to me, but to the other people in the room. They'll hear you sooner or later. Anyway, we'll be right back after this. Take a break, but you stick around. Don't wait.
Fran's got a serious boyfriend.
Are you planning on seeing him again?
Yep. Monday.
Jerry Lewis is the nutty billionaire.
It's for my new friend and his pretty lady.
It's on Cincinnati's 38 Monday.
Classes start soon.
Call 1-800-317-1606 now.
On Cold Squad.
What was about 8 hours, and we already got one dead citizen.
The Cold Squad in this last few days.
Cold Squad's not going anywhere.
Lonsdale, Frank's already there.
You just made this more complicated.
He's a cop, he won't fire!
Don't count.
Cold Squad.
It's on Cincinnati's 38 Sunday.
The captain warns Hyatt.
I brought you in here because I thought you could be trusted.
I've got no glory, right? And Hernan is missing.
Who sent you?
Hernan, I swear!
We got a male Hispanic, 20s, 30s, Salvadoran ink, hacked to pieces.
Watch The Shield.
It's on Cincinnati's 38 Sunday.
A better example of how, by the way, welcome back. Thank you for sticking around with me. The total research budget of the Bush administration has been $2.3 billion, which is 1.5 days of what we spend at the Pentagon. Ready for this? Let me give you how far off this guy is. He spends anywhere from 11 to 22 billion on welfare for illegal aliens each year. Is there something wrong with that? Don't you think he's not trying to turn this into a third world country? With numbers like this, I mean, I don't know how in the hell we're supposed to survive. Wait till it goes to $200 a barrel. You think it won't? I guarantee you it will. But you've got to be smarter. Figure it out. Let's go to Charles. Charles, you're there, sir. Go ahead.
Hey, yeah, this is the first time I ever watched your show, and it's pretty good. Hey, but as far as alternative fuel, hemp, like marijuana.
Yeah.
Like we can use 6% of our agricultural land and just grow hemp. if you really want to learn more about it, we have a rally on Fountain Square next Sunday,
Yeah.
between 3 and 6 p.m. Gatewood Galbraith will be there talking. And
By the way, have you been
way
smoking some tonight? You sound like it.
I smoke it every day.
Every day. Okay, that's what I figured. Hey, I appreciate the call. Thank you, brother. One of those realists involved. Not only does he demonstrate, he orchestrates. I like that. Let's go to, I don't know if this is, Damien, you're on the air. Hello?
Yes, it's the Mojave Desert that you're talking about, all the natural resources in there, the oil.
Yes.
What do you think about this? The Mojave Desert may have been once a green...
It never was. I know the joke. It's an old joke. I don't have time for it. Thomas, you're on the air.
Hello, Bill Shares.
Hey, how you doing there, Tom?
God bless you, Bill. How are you doing?
Well, I'm here tonight.
I'd like to apologize. I called probably 3 or 4 months ago.
Uh-huh.
I made a terrible prediction.
Oh, really?
Yes, I did. I believe that some people are seers.
Some people are what?
Are seers, like in the Bible. Samuel is called a seer.
Oh, okay.
And I said a bus would go over a bridge, and it did not happen.
Okay.
But I would like to say something. I know you won't like this. My brother didn't like it either. The next president of the United States will be Barack Obama.
Okay.
And
you know what? What do you base that on?
I base that on sometimes the Lord sends spirits to speak to me.
Yeah, I bet that sounds like a Democrat spirit.
It sounds, but if you read your Bible, it does happen.
It does happen. I didn't say it didn't happen.
And I've gotten many things right in these last 4 or 5 months.
Well,
and I heard one late at night. I mean, I was praying for a Republican, to be honest with you. And I heard a voice at night. It's like something out of a movie. It said, Barack Obama will be the next president of the United States.
See there, that lady wanted that sci-fi stuff. Here it is.
That's right. This is a Scizone.
This is a Scizone. See, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thomas. You just don't know when they're going to chime in and make a prediction. I bet it was a Democrat spirit, you believe? Or maybe but do spirits have do they have politics? Are spirits political? Do you know? Anybody in the control room know if it's political spirits are out there? Oh, I'm sure there are. That's a good answer, I guess. Anyway, let's go back to, is it Key or Kerr? You're on the air. Hello?
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air, dear.
Tara?
That's close enough. Go ahead.
Oh. I was wondering about that government... I was wondering about the government gold that they talk about to buy. Do you think that's worth investing in?
In gold?
Yeah.
Well, it's something you need a lot of advice on, and I'm not somebody qualified to give you advice on buying gold. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you, dear.
Okay.
Good luck. You would call this show to ask that question? Please. Jim, you're there, I hope.
Yes, sir, I am.
Go right ahead, sir.
Well, when you hire a professional service and it doesn't work, you fire them. If you've got a government that obviously can't work, unqualified, you fire them. Fire the government.
What do you do then? What are you going to put in place of them?
Well, I wouldn't say, I'm not talking about getting rid of the Declaration of Independence or the Constitution.
That's why I didn't say anything about that. What are you going to do when you get rid of fire everybody in government? What are you going to replace it with?
The executive, the legislature, and the judicial.
Oh, I thought you were going to get rid of them too. See, they're part of the problem.
Well, not the them I'm talking about are the present holders who, well, I don't think they quite run an average business that I've ever dealt with. They don't seem to be well grounded.
I have to agree with you, but I don't know how do you propose to get rid of them, sir?
Well, there's 300 million of us. I think I've just got the idea. I think somebody else might be able to develop it a little more.
I see,
but
one of them. Okay. Well,
but
Jim, you've got it out on the floor for discussion. Somebody may come up with a hell of an answer for you.
well, we need to do something. There's just, I mean, you couldn't get a bigger collection of idiots in high places. I hate to say it.
You don't hate to say it. It's the damn truth.
After 55 years, and I paid attention, to the news since I was quite small. It's like, where did they find these people?
You know what? I ask myself every time I see one of those debates. I can't even watch the debates anymore. I go crazy. I look at them for a few minutes, and I've heard all the, you don't have a lapel pin, and you're not this, and you're not and look how much money we got. I want to throw up. We haven't got one contestant that's worth two hoots in hell. None of them.
Well, probably not, but you've noticed they don't say a great deal about any kind of policy.
They don't have any. You got it confused.
It's kind of
They don't have any policy. They don't. First off, they don't have a platform. They've got, well, I think we ought to do this, and I think if we could get together, we could form some kind of, and don't worry about 3 o'clock in the morning. I think we could, he called me a dirty name. That's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I mean, well, it's mud throwing to the extreme. I mean,
not one.
It doesn't have anything to do with what they may or may not do.
Not one. We don't have one candidate worth putting in. Not one.
Well, unfortunately, from 100 years ago, I believe it was Mark Twain said, "The finest government money can buy."
I have to go along with it.
Yeah, I mean,
and if you got money, you can buy it. And get ready. You're about ready to buy it again.
Unfortunately.
Many
thanks.
Jim, thank you, sir. Jim, bright guy. Got it down pat. Let's go to Miss C, whoever that is, somewhere in the world. Miss C, how are you tonight?
It's just fine. Now, Hillary going to be president, and Barack Obama going to be vice president, and they got to legalize marijuana, and then when people smoke that marijuana, they're going to clear the cobwebs out of their heads.
Oh, okay.
Medical.
A little jive there going on to talk like that. Yeah. Let's do a break before I go throw up. Hurry back, will you? Right after this. You know what? We got the best commercials in the world. We really do. Well, I mean, where else can you go get that kind of entertainment that quick? I mean, it's just a refreshing. I know some of you got up and went out to the refrigerator while that was going on, and you're just not getting back going, what did I miss? What did I miss? No, you didn't miss anything yet, because Annette's here. Annette, you're on the air.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, how are you?
Pretty good. I've been observing the poor getting poorer. We are so close to being a third world country. Listen to this. A woman had a mastectomy, her entire left breast removed on Thursday, and they threw her out of the hospital. I discharged her, of course, because she's on SSI in 24 hours. She's holding a bag in her hand where it's draining. Now, that's what our country is coming to. I wanted to know if Ron Paul had a stand on perhaps opening up Alaska's pipeline so we can have our own oil instead of China.
Speaking of China, I appreciate the call, Annette. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm ashamed, but thank you for bringing that to our attention. God almighty. China. Let me give you what has happened in China. Back in, I forget when. Let me see here. I got it right here. It's right here in the. You gotta hear this. Back in, I believe it was, or was that the right one? No, that's not it. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. You oil companies are in for a big surprise. Yeah. You see, back in 1997, China sold this country, or not us, they sold it to Nuri al-Maliki, weapons. He kept calling and saying, we need guns, we need guns. Oh, it's in the mail. The check is in the mail. Don't worry. We'll get them to you, Nuri. Just keep on trucking. Well, he finally called China. They sold him the weapons and he could defend himself. Well, China are close to concluding negotiations on $1.2 billion oil contract, which originally was agreed to in 1997 under Saddam Hussein's government. And the Iraqi oil ministry, they brought this all up. And something called CNPC, which was China's National Petroleum, they signed the deal, and their talks are continuing. And it says, quote, we are expecting the next round of discussions due to be held in April. We'll finish the negotiations, the official said. And according to the official, the Iraqi government presented the proposal to amend the original production sharing contract, and they bought into it. Iraq is planning to increase its output 3 million barrels by the end of 2008. And the current 2.5 million barrels by employing foreign companies. Now, all you've got to do, Mr. Oil Company, is sit on your ass and do nothing. You will be out in the cold. I'm telling you this now. China will buy all of the oil, pay for all of the exporting, do all of the development of the fields, pay for it, and pay the Iraqi people to pump it out. You sit and do nothing, and you will lose everything. You have a deadline. You need to go to the IMF and tell them how to make Nuri al-Maliki happy. You know what I'm talking about. If you don't, you will be without a product, period. I don't know how to say this any closer to the truth. You people are a bunch of fumbling fools. You're about ready to lose the only news source of it, but that's okay. We got the Mojave Desert, and we've got guys like Byron Wine that'll show you how to run your car on water. So you oil companies, just continue to do what you're doing, and you'll get exactly what you got right now. Nothing. If you don't get in line and make a presentation and tell the IMF how and where to post on the FX and redesign the Iraqi dinar and make it worth something so that they can combat the 50 or 60% inflation they got, I'm afraid you're not going to be able to pump any oil. But that's okay. Hey, just remember you heard it right here. And by the way, what I'm telling you has been on the internet and is still there. So if you're thinking about not doing anything, that's okay. It's still not going to help you because you won't have any oil. And oh, for all of you bankers out there who think you're going to make hay by sitting on the dinar, the only people you're going to be able to sell it to are the oil companies because they've got to pay for oil in Iraqi dinars. He wants to be paid in Iraqi dinars, and he will be. They are a sovereign country. Oh, and by the way, Bush, if you happen to be listening, or some of your other people listening, don't worry about the nuclear bombs or missiles or so forth. Nobody's developing them. They can buy them. Where are you? Russia will sell them and China, Korea will sell them to them. So don't worry about them building a centrifuge in the ground and going to make hay. They don't have any oil. It's all sludge. That's right. And they need electricity. So tell you what, do. Don't pay any attention to any of this because I'm just a raving maniac, right? Wait. Just wait. You got a few days left. If I were you, I'd be on the phone. Let's go to Jeff. I think he's been here. No, he's not been here the longest. Doug has. Doug, you're on the air.
Hi, Bill. This is Doug from Westchester. I've talked to you before. How you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Go right ahead, sir.
Good, good. Reason I called, I had a comment or a question to make in regard to, what you were talking about before about Bush, and that is, I've always felt like Bush basically over the course of the last 8 years one of the reasons why we're in the state we're in right now in this country, and as bad as things are with our economy and so forth, is the fact that Bush just seems like the type of a person to me that only cares about his own personal agenda,
That's
and he doesn't care about people one iota in general.
Has absolutely no concept about you or I.
Right.
He's
He doesn't
never had
care,
a job. He's never had a job.
Oh, there you
then
go.
he went out and got himself.
Right. He's never hit a lick in his life.
Never hit a lick of the snake.
And he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, and the only thing he cares about is looking presidential and everybody thinking he's some big, great guy. He made the statement somewhere. I don't remember when he made it or what the source was or whatever. I don't remember, but I do recall him saying something to the effect of, at one point in time, he said, all of your great presidents have been war presidents. And that was, I think, even before the Iraq War started. And so, so what does he do? He goes out and he invents a war. So
he's a moron.
He's an absolute idiot.
You're right. That's it. Hey, I got to go to break, but I appreciate your call. Thank you, brother.
Okay, have a good one.
You got it. It's called moron, war moron, warmonger. Now, can we go to break? Now we got to do it. Let's do that break. We'll be right back. Don't go away. It's not just the president, it's some of the other people that are in the powers that be. Yesterday afternoon, last week, Nancy Pelosi told the media that she had asked the president with the Democrats to figure out a way to temporarily suspend oil deliveries to the Strategic Petroleum Reserve in an effort to ease the pain at the pump. Really? Here's somebody who's really in touch with a fork in the head. We only burn about 70,000 barrels of oil a day. And they're only putting like 20, she wants to stop the 70,000 barrels of oil going in, and we burn about 21 billion barrels per day. Duh. Now, it's funny, every time you hear these oil prices start going up, these politicians come out with their latest plan. Something else, a very placid face, another person. Local news gives you a laundry list of things that you can do, and we've got some of them here. Keep your tires properly inflated. Boy, there's a brain scan for you. Check and replace the air filters regularly, and don't speed. Hey! Avoid excess idling. I guess you shouldn't stop at red lights and so forth. That's excess. And here's one for you. This will really give you a charge. Those of you who have to work like the rest of us, stagger your work hours if possible to avoid peak hour rushes. Stagger your work hours. Are these people serious? I mean, how many hardworking folks do you know in this country have the freedom to stagger their damn work hours? It's a joke. I have a better idea. How about everyone stop jerking us around with a BS of things we can do and start integrating transportation options like simply cut out fuel consumption now. And give us a car that gets 70 to 80 miles to a gallon and stop this minutia. That's something that could be done right now. Back to the phone lines and your calls. Let's go to somebody been there the longest. Jeff, looks like you. You're on the air with me. Go ahead.
Yeah. You guys were talking about how America is becoming a third world country, how they're making it into one. And what I want to point out is, like, look at all the trucks that come through the Mexican border with the Mexican mafia, Mexican gangs, running drugs up here. All these people up here don't work in Mexican restaurants. They come up here where they won't be deported, go back down to Mexico, buy Valium over the counter for 50 cents a pill, bring it up by the truckload, come up here, sell it to our teenagers, which bikers and junkies won't even do,
You know what? We can't even get them to arrest these people coming across the border unless they've got over 500 pounds of dope on them. Do you know what the hell it takes to carry 500 pounds of marijuana across the border? And if he's got 499 pounds, you can't even stop him.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is,
that's the kind of, it's like this thing I just read. It's completely a waste of nothing.
Mm-hmm.
It's much to do with nothing. There's absolutely no substance in any political statements I've seen.
No, and the only times that they will not run these trucks through Cincinnati is election times. I mean, the Mexicans that do this up here are out of control, and the people around don't realize that this is contributing to the teenage drug prescription problem that you see advertised. It isn't all these kids getting into their medicine cabinets. It's also coming around.
Well, they want to blame somebody with it, so they're going to blame your medicine cabinet.
Yeah, and they keep it off of this problem, which all goes back to closing the border, closing the trucks, being more,
Close the borders, period.
They're letting. You talk about third world country. We're not even going to be as good as a third world country in 10 years.
Hell, they've got it better than we've got it. We're paying their bills for them. Jeff, I appreciate the call. Matthew, you're up. Go ahead. Matthew?
Hello, Bill.
You're up. Go ahead.
Hi. Comment about hydrogen power.
Yeah.
There's sort of an assumption being made with regard to hydrogen power that there is some supply of hydrogen available, but there isn't. Now, what I mean by that is basic science. The same amount of energy it takes to melt ice is the amount of energy given off when ice is formed. The same thing applies to chemistry. The same amount of energy that it takes to break the bond between the hydrogen and oxygen in water is the same amount of energy that is created when you burn hydrogen.
Are you aware that seawater has been ignited with radio waves?
So what, you're going to have radio waves burn water in the
look,
car?
I don't have time to debate it for you, but it's on the internet. Go take a look at it.
Oh, I read the internet a lot. My point is that hydrogen it takes energy to split the hydrogen from the oxygen.
Yes, it does.
So the hydrogen, the water itself is not a source of energy. Hydrogen is merely a transport vehicle for energy, and you've got to have a source of energy to split the hydrogen out of the water, such as solar, but that's your source of energy then is the solar.
Well, when you let us try it?
I'm not preventing anybody from trying anything.
There you go, Matthew. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you. Let's do a break. I need a break. Get the dancing girls ready. I need some relief. We'll be right back. Don't go away. The girls will be here in a minute. All right, it's time to quit fooling around. I got to get to your phone calls. Diane, you're up. Go ahead.
How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Working on the rest of it.
Well, good. You know, it seems like the United States was totally screwed up before 9/11, but after 9/11, it seems like everything has been, you just name one thing in the United States and there's something wrong. I just think it's time that we, the middle class and lower, really form some kind of march and walk, because I have not talked to not one person that isn't so angry about everything that's going on in the world. It's just not gas or food or immigrants or the war. Or
it's all of it.
It's
we don't have any leadership. We don't have we've got a president who's convinced he's God.
Well, all of them think they're demigods. Even Hollywood thinks they're demigods. It's just insane to me.
I'm a demigod, but they really got to be demigods, you know?
But
I'm a damn god right here in front of you, but them damn fools are just fools.
Well, maybe you
them
should
damn
organize
demigods.
this
I
march.
like that. I'm do what?
Maybe you should organize this march.
Hell, where are we going to march? I don't like
I don't
marching.
care. We can march to Washington because
I wouldn't walk to Washington to do what? Draw attention to something nobody's going to pay any attention to? I wear out my shoes. To hell with them. I'm going to vote them out of office.
Would just speak up and say, you know, I hate to say that. We've had enough.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're doing that tonight.
And,
they're listening.
As far as the candidates go, there's nobody out
There's
there.
nobody to vote for. Are you
It takes
kidding me?
to straighten out this mess, and what it's left my children and my grandchildren to pay off. It's unbelievable. And nobody's doing anything about it because we don't know what to do.
We do now. We got a place, and it's here, right here, every week. We'll get this wired out. You wait and see. They're going to be listening to this.
Oh, I hope so, Bill.
I appreciate it. Thank you, dear.
Okay, bye-bye.
Gotcha. Let's go to Norman. Norman, are you there, sir?
I'm here.
Good to have you aboard, sir.
Yeah, I called you last week.
Yeah.
I agree with everybody on this daggone thing. Since I can remember when I started to vote, which was before Kennedy.
Yeah.
How many times have they taken the what Congress is doing? Congress has been crap for years.
Why?
And where do we get the candidates? Right out of a bunch of crap heads that are messing it up.
Yeah, I agree.
Every one of these idiots that's running for thing are right out of the stupid Congress.
Yeah.
And we put anybody in Congress that's got some brains on the thing, one of these junior Congress members on the thing, and if they're not with the good old boys on the top, they run them out of office.
Throw them right out.
They throw them right out. They don't have anybody up there. They've got enough money up there, and there's enough money on the thing, the daggone thing. They just pay their way right back.
Buy them right off. Buy them out.
They just buy everything right out. And I mean, I wouldn't vote for any of them. I would put on the thing if they had a place on the ballot to vote on the thing. I'd put none of the above.
None of the above. Norman, right idea. I appreciate the call, sir. Thank you. Let's go to Jay right quick, please. Jay, you're on the air. Hopefully.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
Phenomenally well.
I thought you could maybe do some type of vote to get some type of forum to get things moving on for your show to make a difference in things. If you maybe had some type of survey or people could vote, that might make power to do things. And then the other thing was...
Wait. Back up and say that again.
Well, you have a chance to... you have a show where a lot of people are listening.
Right.
So you could possibly get some type of people to call in and make a vote, so you can maybe show the politicians on different items, like what things you'd like to get done, so we can.
Well, if they don't do it, then we'll vote their ass out. How's that?
Well, that's a good one too. And now my other thing was that hydrogen. I'd like to hear more on that.
Well, I would too. Can I tell you where to go? Go to Byron Wine's website. All the information you need is there.
Okay.
And the people. And by the way, the guy who called up about all the water splitting and hydrogen, he hasn't figured it out yet.
Yeah, it didn't sound like that. Now, what about the other thing I wanted to ask you is the northern sands in Canada. They got the technology to take all that oil. Here's our neighbor that's supposed to have more oil than Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Iraq put together, they say. And China's got all the money invested in there. Why aren't we getting all the oil from the northern sands?
I don't know. It's a good question. I think they're waiting for hard times. And then they'll come, look what we found over here. See, we found it. Oh, there.
Yeah.
And when you do that, then they'll go, now we want $700 a barrel for it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's our neighbor, and we could get it exported a hell of a lot cheaper than fighting this war and bringing
You got
it from
that
the Middle
right,
East.
brother. I appreciate the call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've spent the last 8 years, and it was a complete waste. We are on the edge of unbelievable catastrophic events. The oil companies are standing by with nothing to do. And if they do anything, they won't. If they don't do anything, they're not going to have any chance to do anything in Iraq. I would suggest, those of you who have anything to do with the oil companies or know anything about it, you had better get busy. China is going to buy you out in a heartbeat. And Nouri al-Maliki has nothing to lose. He can do it all. Join me this week. Sign up. WBQC. Get your tickets. Join me in the movies this Wednesday night. It's at Springdale Pike. Right back.